3. And now, news from Connie Deacon and Dick Fagler. Exclusive Doppler 3 forecasts from Amy Haston, plus Jim Donovan on sports. This is Channel 3 News.
Cheers! The show is over, and now, on with the show. Cheers, one of the most watched, most enjoyed, and most honored shows in television history, is history tonight. Good evening, Cleveland. I'm Jeff Maynor in Boston, where it seems like the whole town has turned out tonight for the big Cheers last call party. Beacon Street is literally a sea of people as far as you can see. The party is underway, the stars are here, and we're going to be looking in live on all of that coming up on Channel 3 News.
Yep, our top story tonight. You just bellied up to one of the biggest events in television history as tens of millions of people tuned into the final episode of Cheers.
Well, the last beer has now been served, the bar stools are empty, and that closed sign is up at America's favorite bar, Cheers. But the hoopla and the celebrating surrounding this final chapter of the most successful sitcom in TV history is far from over. This is what it looked like outside the Bull and Finch pub on Beacon Hill, where thousands of people have gathered for tonight's wrap party. Most of the cast is there. We'll hear what they had to say a little later on when we go live with Jeff Maynor from the Cheers bar. It's been a big day for the cast members and Boston residents as thousands turned out for celebrations honoring Cheers, the fictional bar set in Beantown. Earlier today, the cast gathered at the Massachusetts State House as the Governor Well there proclaimed it Cheers Day. All the cast members said a few words. Ted Danson stepped up with something really important.
By the way, I have a very important announcement. I was only kidding about leaving the show.
Thousands of fans turned out for this proclamation, and many more then headed down the street in front of the bar for tonight's big festivities. There are Cheers wrap parties going on all around the country. Cleveland, no exception. Channel 3's Liz Habib is at Hopkins Airport at the bar where everybody knows your name. She has reaction to tonight's final episode. What's the word there, Liz?
Well, Connie, everyone out here really made an event out of the Cheers final episode. They just loved it. They all hoped Sam and Diane would get back together. They all had a good time. But the consensus is we're all going to miss it. From the outside, you can see how crowded it is. People are packed in like sardines. Inside, the taps are flowing, and a little bit earlier, the crowd did a few warm-up exercises. The Cheers theme became, at least for the night, the national anthem. It's a lot of fun, but for some, it's a little sentimental.
I figured it's an era that I lived through, and I want to see the end of an era, and it's going to be missed by everybody here in Cleveland because everybody's part of it.
I'm sad because it's something I remember, you know, the family sitting down watching Cheers, something everyone could get into. And they're always glad you came.
As the final episode begins, the crowd goes crazy, naming their favorite characters and guessing just how it's going to end. Do you relate to any of the characters in the show?
Sure, Woody.
You relate to Woody?
Yeah.
How is it you relate to Woody?
We have the same philosophy.
And what's that?
None.
Do you have any predictions on how the show's going to end tonight?
Well, I know Clinton's going to end up on the show.
For everyone here and for everyone across America, it's one last time for Sam, Woody, Rebecca, Norm, and the whole gang.
Taking a break from all your worries, show it out alive.
Well, okay, I'll admit it. We all got into it and even started singing a little bit. Two guys here who really got this party going were Brian and Joe from the End radio station. I want to get their comments real quick. Brian, what did you think of the ending? It really choked you up.
Yeah, it really did. I think when Norm walked out of that bar, a little piece of me walked out of that Cheers bar. It was a place I used to go to every Thursday night.
Oh, these guys can really ham it up. And now, Joe, what did you think of the ending?
I thought it was very fitting. I thought it was really nice, but I think they should continue the series here in Cleveland because, we having a good time?
Okay, Liz and friends, thank you very much. We'll have plenty more live from the Cheers bar in Boston. That's coming up in a few minutes. Then, of course, after the news, Jay Leno is going to do the Tonight Show there live, so we hope you'll stay tuned.
But now, on to other news. Cleveland police believe they've caught some of the people who've been stealing thousands of cars and other vehicles in the city. Officers set up a fake operation on Lakeside Avenue downtown and offered $200 to $300 for each stolen vehicle. Now, you're watching tape from a hidden camera that caught the thieves cashing in. Two officers posed as a father-son team and paid them off to set up their arrest and a sting.
You guys requested. What, you get it all?
Yeah, I've told it all.
It was too easy. mean, these guys didn't know what was happening. You know, we went out and arrested the one today, and when he seen me and my son standing there, hey, this guy turned as white as a ghost.
10 adults and 1 juvenile are indicted. Police set up the sting because auto theft is the only crime on the rise downtown.
A fire on Carnegie in downtown Cleveland snarled afternoon traffic for a few hours today. Firefighters say a garage caught fire. Sparks jumped to nearby buildings. One abandoned, the other occupied. Luckily, though, there was only one minor injury. A firefighter twisted his ankle. Traffic had to be routed around that area all during rush hour. Cleveland police are looking for someone who may have set fire to an East Side home twice in 2 days. Today's blaze broke out about 4 o'clock this morning at this house on East 48th Street. Wanda Reversi thinks that neighborhood teenagers torched her home in revenge because they say she's responsible for getting another neighborhood family evicted. No injuries in the fires. Luckily, her 3 young children were away from home.
Tonight, police know the identity of a woman who may have been burned alive and dumped in rural Stark County. The body of 24-year-old Christina Lynn Warrens of Canton was found on this isolated road of Pike Township. Authorities say she has an extensive record of prostitution charges. Anybody with information about the murder should call the Stark County Sheriff's Office.
Part of the president's helicopter fleet is grounded tonight for close inspection. A chopper crashed in Maryland yesterday, killing 4 Marine aviators. One of them was a local man. Dead is 32-year-old Staff Sergeant Brian Haney. He's formerly of North Ridgeville. For the last 5 years, Haney was assigned as a mechanic to the presidential helicopter fleet. When President Bush helicoptered from the airfield at NASA Lewis Research Center to Paynesville back in September, Haney was aboard. He was the in-flight mechanic. He's survived by his parents, who still live in North Ridgeville, his wife Jeannie, and their 4 children.
Well, yet another unexpected delay in the Rock Hall of Fame construction, but it's not money problems this time. A worker operating a backhoe hit a high-pressure gas line at North Coast Harbor. Fire crews rushed to the scene. The gas company turned off gas to the line before repairs got started. There were no injuries. Crews are preparing the site for the official groundbreaking next month.
And coming up next, a Target 3 undercover report.
Some workers at a Cleveland restaurant say some sexual ribbing was on the menu at their restaurant.
And here in Boston, the Cheers Last Call party is on, and you're invited live as the news goes on.
Now, Channel 3's Jeff Maynor has been in Boston the past couple days covering the Cheers festivities, and tonight he's in the middle of all the action in front of the Bull and Finch pub.
He, along with hundreds of other journalists covering this event, they're joined by thousands of fans. They've flocked to Beacon Hill for the big party. So, Jeff, what's it like there to be part of television history?
Oh, it is wild, Connie. Just a few minutes ago, all the stars of Cheers stuck their head out of the 3rd floor window of the Hampshire House, and it was bedlam here among the thousands of people who, as you say, have come out to be a part of TV history tonight in Boston. This is sort of like a movie premiere, only it's in reverse. It's at the end of a show instead of to kick off a show. The searchlights are here. The stars roll up in the limos and go in, and the crowd is cheering and hoping for autographs. Right now, let's take a look around at this crowd outside the Bull and Finch, the Cheers pub in Boston. After on and off drizzle most of the day, it cleared up early this evening, and the people swarmed here. The whole block of Beacon Street is people. They're here to celebrate the show set in Boston, to cheer the stars who came here for the party, and to watch The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, which will come live from in and around Cheers tonight. At the party, a couple of floors up from Cheers, we talked with Ted Danson and some of the Cheers regulars tonight.
Right, basically what we did for 11 years was hang out with 7 or 8 of our closest friends and make each other laugh all day.
When I was at the legislature today and the governor was giving his proclamations, I looked out over Boston Common, the same place where Paul Revere rode and with all that rich history, American history took place. And I was looking out there and I got a little teary and thought, well, this is pretty good for a truck driver's son from Bridgeport. So you did okay, kiddo.
The one other time was 200th show. We all came here, and it was like we were the Beatles. And here we are again. I never thought it would be again more, and it is. They're doing it again. So it's just they're great. They're great. It's an amazing thing to come into this.
Well, I've been very fortunate, but I definitely missed the show. It's like I'm doing this movie right now, and I was in Winslow, Arizona this morning. Oliver Stone's directing the movie, and I begged him, please let me go. And so we just worked it out. It's like one of those things. So I didn't anticipate being able to come, but here we are. It's pretty exciting.
This show has made some stars, hadn't it? Woody Harrelson off making a movie. He got away from it to come here for this tonight. Kirstie Alley making a movie in British Columbia could not get off. Now, if you didn't like the final episode of Cheers, if you weren't satisfied with the way it ended, talk to the makers. It was written by Glenn and Les Charles, the co-creators of Cheers. They hadn't written an episode since Shelley Long left the series, and Kirstie Alley came on board several years ago. The crowd over my shoulder here, the stands, the bleachers, the grandstand, that's the audience for the Tonight Show. 750 people. They've been sitting here since about 7 o'clock tonight. They got boxed lunches, and they are standing by for Jay Leno, who comes up at 11:35 from Cheers in Boston. And this is Jeff Maynor reporting live for Channel 3 News.
Okay, Jeff, we'll see you later. Thanks.
Okay, and later, we'll repeat the final scene of the Cheers last show. And be sure to stay tuned, as Jeff told you, to the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Jay is at the Cheers Bar in Boston, where all the cast members are going to appear live on the show for reaction to that final episode. Well, it's been raining, Connie, in Boston all day, but we were lucky enough to have the sun to fun the day here.
Well, indeed. Amy's up next. She has the weekend Doppler 3 forecast. And we have an exclusive Undercover Target 3 special report. Paul Orlowski investigates a local restaurant owner accused of sexual harassment.
Look to her right.
Thank you, Dr. Wendell Branch.
Oh, my God.
And then later, a look at how Cheers wrapped up its final show.